All right, everybody, we are live, Donnie Samir, early this Sunday morning, and I have Chef Wilize. Did I say it right?
You did.
Okay, Chef Wilize with us, and we're just gonna chop it up about, she's into healing and eating good, well, properly, I guess, African health. So, are you a vegan or vegetarian or?
Vegetarian.
Vegetarian. I just had Dr. Sabi's son on a couple weeks ago. I know he's trying to build like a natural health resort similar to what his father had it. I mean, his grandfather had in Honduras, but he wants to build it in Ghana. So I could definitely link you up to him. How was that?
I said that would be amazing. I'll be in Ghana soon too.
Okay, let me open up the chat room real quick. It's link. There we go. What's up, people? What's up, Chima? All right, so everybody, so we were having some technical difficulties this morning, so we're just streaming through Hangouts via the my Gmail account and not Hangouts via YouTube. So it's just I'm just screen sharing right now. So hopefully you guys can see everything. Can you guys see us right now in the chat room? Press 1. I just want to make sure before we get started. Can you see and hear us? Press 1. Can somebody please press 1 if you can see or hear us? Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, we're good to go. All right, so now you're in LA. Well, you're currently in Ivory Coast right now.
Yes.
But you live in LA.
Yes.
Now, we talk about this a lot. Can you give me your honest opinion on the, I guess, outlook of the Black collective currently in LA, like kind of like the state of Black people as a whole in Los Angeles? Because I was in LA. I left 4 years ago, and it wasn't too positive. But I mean, you might see something else that I don't see. Can you give me your thoughts on that?
What do you mean it wasn't too positive?
I mean, it's just I think the idea is people confuse. Like I used to do a lot of outreach on Skid Row.
Okay.
Okay. The Skid Row is predominantly, I would say, 85% Black, from my experience. You look at that. You look at the gentrification that's going on in like the Lamar Park area. Me personally, my experience with a lot of Black people in LA, they take, I would say, legalizing cannabis more serious than they do home ownership or building Black wealth. I know a lot of people who were, I don't want to say the word displaced, but had to relocate to, we'll say, Riverside or San Bernardino or even to Stockton, California. So that was my experience, but I don't want to be too negative. But again, since you're in LA currently, or you go back in March or April, but you live there, you do reside in LA, correct? Outside of, okay. What are your thoughts on the Black state of people, the state of Black people in LA?
I think it would depend on different communities, different mindset. So depending on who's around your environment, because I have friends who are investing in homes in LA who are Black. So I wouldn't generalize everyone. It would depend on who was in your surrounding at the time.
Okay. So it was hard for me to connect with people like yourself in LA. Like it was the communities, I don't know, it was hard to really get into the community of people, bodies of people like yourself. Somebody who's relocating to LA, how would they find a like-minded person like yourself instead of that fake, glamorous Hollywood?
I think the problem with LA is it's so big and vast that people tend to build cliques.
Right.
So I would say there's a majority of people in Inglewood who are very open-minded. Lamar Park also.
Is Lamar? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I asked. Go ahead.
Wait. So yeah, I mean, for me, when I first moved to LA, it was very difficult because I think because the place is so vast and big that you really have to research, kind of do a research of the people you want to keep around. But I found people through different jobs that I had, or just from going to poetry. I do poetry too. Going to events that promoted the type of people that I wanted to attract. So there was like slam poetry events. There's a lot of that in LA. The only thing is they're a little bit underground. You have to kind of know, like do your research on when they're going on. But I would say go to events where you know you will meet people that are like-minded. So there are also health-oriented events that you might want to go to, and you might find people who have the same passions as you. You know, if you're going to Project LA at a club, you're probably not going to find the people you want to look for there. But just, I would say, try to look for events where similar passions as you.
Now, are you originally from the Ivory Coast?
Because
You said you are? Hello? Did we lose you? Or is that me? God's sake. Did we lose you? Are you there? Can you hear me? People in the chat room, can you hear me? Hello? Let me do this.
Can you hear me?
I hear you now. People in the chat room, press 1 if you can hear us. Oh, goodness. Hold on, let me do this real quick.
Hear you fine.
Okay, I can't hear you because it might be on my end. I hope it's not. But can you hear me? Let me do this real quick. I hope I don't lose anybody. Oh, goodness. Let me just see something. Yeah, my internet is fine. Hold on, let me. Can people in the chat room hear me?
Fine.
You, Screen share. Okay, we're back. I'm sorry, we're back. I apologize. So where we left off, you're originally from Ivory Coast, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. When did you come to America?
When I was 10.
You were 10?
In 2000. Mm-hmm.
Okay. What made you get into, I guess, healing and natural foods and
Well, both of my parents are doctors, so I was always around medicine. I did my study to go into medical school, but on my way there, I did an internship with a doctor for a year.
Okay.
And I didn't like what I saw while I was going on there. Not to downgrade allopathic medicine, because I think in some aspects it's very important. But a lot of times the doctors are trained to just use medication 24/7 instead of, for whatever comes up. And so I've always been interested in nutrition and food. I always cooked in my house. So I directed my interest towards there and didn't leave it since then.
Okay. Now, do you have any did you go to university anywhere? Did you go to college?
Yeah, I went to Northeastern University. I studied behavior and neuroscience.
You said Northeastern?
Pardon?
You said Northeastern University?
Yeah. So I studied behavior and neuroscience, and I did an orientation in pre-medicine and nutrition. And then when I got to LA, I got into the kitchen, did a few internship with a few chefs, and then just merged the two. And since then, I've been doing nutrition therapy and private chefing.
What chefs did you work with in LA?
I worked with Lauren. I don't know if you guys know her.
Does she have a restaurant? Do they have any brick and mortars in LA?
Oh, she's a private chef.
Private chef, okay.
Yeah, I did work at Stuff I Eat as well.
Stuff I Eat. Where's that at?
It's in Englewood.
Okay, because I know is Healthful Essence still open?
What's it called?
Is it Healthful Essence? It's on I guess that would be Slauson and not La Cienega, Slauson and goodness. If you go ahead, that would be west on Slauson. You cross over Crenshaw, you kind of go up the hill, and it's on the left. It's next door. There was like a New Orleans po' boy spot across the street from it. And I'm trying to think
I know the New Orleans place, but I haven't seen this place.
Right. So right across the street is a spot called Healthful Essence. It's a grocery store, and it's a restaurant. It's black owned too, so it's pretty popular in LA. Yeah, it's pretty good too. Yeah, and then
weird because I drive around there often, so I would.
That's why I'm surprised. Unless it closed down. Well, how long have you been in LA?
You mean Simply Wholesome?
Simply Wholesome. I'm tripping. What I say? Healthful Essence. I'm making up restaurants. Healthful Essence.
Simply Wholesome. Yeah.
Simply Wholesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, Healthful Essence, right? Where I get
it's still amazing. They're still amazing.
Okay.
Everywhere.
So they're still open? Okay. What I say? Healthful Essence.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm making up restaurants.
Like I drive there all the
time. Yeah, it's been a minute. And then there's another spot in downtown Inglewood that was real good.
That's Stuff I Eat.
Stuff I Eat. Okay, so you worked there.
Yeah. Okay. I did for a bit.
Okay. How long were you how long you been in LA?
4 years now.
Okay, so you got to LA when I left. Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I left in May. Hey, everybody in the chat room is complimenting you. They say you're beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
They say you're welcome. So do you plan on opening up your own brick and mortar anytime soon, or you?
Not necessarily a restaurant. What I want to do is open healing spaces.
Okay.
In Africa.
Okay.
And bring people from America to Africa. I did my first. So I started now with retreats. I did my first retreat last year in Kenya.
Oh, wow.
And Yeah, I brought 14 people in partnership with an artist in London. We brought 14 people in Kenya, and it was amazing. That's my goal is more to direct this towards like an experience, not so much a restaurant. So just bring people to Africa to experience the healing foods that we have here, as well as the spirituality that we have to offer. Kind of what they do in Asia with yoga and all that stuff,
Okay.
but in Africa.
Okay. So what does a I guess a healing experience in Kenya consist of? Like you what's a day like?
So we have different activities throughout the day. Um, all the food there were organically grown from the land. Every single food that we cook was freshly made and vegetarian.
Mm-hmm.
So we made sure that the people on the trip got the best nutrients that they could get throughout the food. And then experiencing the land as well. We had like um, night around the fire where we brought in elders to tell us stories about the land.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we spent a day with the Maasai people. We saw where they live.
Did you go to Kisarian?
Pardon?
Did you go to Kisarian or did you go to where'd you
Where we were?
yeah,
We
with the
were in
Maasai?
Nairobi.
Okay.
Nairobi. We also went to Mombasa.
Okay.
And yeah, we spent a whole day with the Maasai people. That was amazing in every type of way. And yeah, it's basically we had different activities where we learned a little bit more about Kenya through different people. And then we also were in partnership with an artist. So we also brought in artists from Kenya to come and vibe with us and share with us their culture. So that's what it was. That's what it kind of was. So it's kind of, to me, healing is experiencing the culture and the land and finding yourself through that. A lot of people left the trip with a different mindset of what Africa was like, for instance, and different mindset of what they could take and they could experience through the land.
Do you plan on one day completely relocating to Africa and leaving LA, or is it you're gonna be back and forth?
Well, a lot of my market is in America,
Okay.
so I don't think I would necessarily completely leave, but I would love to do back and forth, like 6 months here, 6 months there, which is what I'm starting to do right now. So.
Okay. Yeah, that's my plan too. Everybody in the chat room, you have to stop hitting on my guest. Okay. Cool C wanted me to tell you that he thinks you're gorgeous and intelligent.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay. But can we get some questions in the chat room, please? Some questions. Now, so as far as the art component, like I saw on your page, you said health, science, art, spirituality, and food. How do you, I guess, include the art component into what you do? I know you say you do spoken word, correct? Or do you do spoken word?
Pardon?
I said, do you do spoken word?
Yeah, I do spoken word.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a writer. In my aspect of my art component, that's why I like to say that what I do is more of an experience.
Okay.
I'm a storyteller. So I like to tell stories. I want to tell the stories of my people and my ancestors, and I think their stories need to be heard. So that's my whole thing. That's why even in Kenya, we brought in the elders to talk about the culture and stuff like that. So my art component is storytelling.
Okay.
But I also am appreciative of various arts. And I think in Africa, most of the time when we talk about spirituality, we can't talk about spirituality without talking about art. Kind of like at the Voodoo Festival, dancing was so important, so it comes hand in hand.
So I didn't see you at the Voodoo Festival. It's funny because I was there at the same time. I was at the Voodoo Festival.
Yeah, it was a big place though.
Well, see, this is the thing. Like I go to an event in Senegal called Maga, the Grand Maga, and that place, like, that is crazy. But the Voodoo Festival to me, did you go last year or the year before last?
No, this was my first time.
See, the one last year was bigger and better. So
So bigger and better than this one?
Yeah. Because I mean, I don't know if you understand like the politics that's going on in WIDA. So you have, I guess, currently two dog bows,
Mm.
Hunan. So, and there was a split. So a lot of the chiefs wouldn't come because they didn't want to, I guess, play sides. So they had another voodoo festival in Port Novo.
Yeah, I knew that.
Right. And that was the first time they ever did that.
Mm.
So I think that's why this one wasn't as big because they went to Port Novo. Because the one last year was off the chain. But in August, I'm gonna go to the Osun Festival in Nigeria, and they say that is like off the chain too. So I'm looking forward to going to that. Yeah.
Mm.
So what was your experience like at the Voodoo Festival? Because I'm trying to get our people to wake up and come experience it, but they're just so programmed, especially our people. They're so programmed that it's a lost cause. Like I'm just like whatever.
I think it's not a lost cause. I think if that's all you know. I mean, I can't even talk about just in America. Let's just even talk about right next door in Ivory Coast.
Right.
I couldn't even tell people around here that I was going to the voodoo festival.
Are you serious?
Because voodoo is not seen as something positive still around, even in Africa and in neighboring countries. So my experience, I mean, that was overwhelming.
No, go
That
into
was
it.
very overwhelming.
Like overwhelming how?
There was a pardon.
I said overwhelming how? Like let's go in.
Um, there was a lot of stuff going on, and a lot of stuff necessarily that I wasn't accustomed to seeing, but that was also beautiful. The thing I think that's really beautiful about voodoo is that there's always this duality, um, in which, if, for instance, they sacrifice an animal, there's also going to be an opposite aspect where they dance for the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
It was very different to what I'm accustomed to seeing, but it was very, very beautiful. Um, and I also think what was amazing with my experience was that I was with someone who could explain to me that what was going on. I think if I didn't have that person, I would be very, very lost. But it was overwhelming. Like it's hard to even put it. That's something that somebody else asked me that, and I was like, I can't even explain to you in words how it is. You have to come and experience it. So I think everybody should go and experience the festival.
Yeah, I'll be back next year.
Yeah,
Do you
me
plan
too.
do you plan on
Me
having
too.
a retreat there or bringing people with you?
Yeah, I am. I am. Um, I am. I don't know if it's going to happen next year. I'm working on that. I'm hoping to bring it in next year, but if not in 2020 for sure. My retreat, I mostly work with Black women, so I always do women only retreats.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm working on that. We'll see by the end of this month if I can make it happen next year, but if not in 2020, it's already said that it's happening.
Okay. Now you say you work primarily with Black women. What kind of issues do you think can be, I guess, alleviated or healed through that Black women are facing through a program like yours?
I think the main problem in society is that Black women don't have a voice.
Okay.
And we don't, when you don't have a voice and you don't even see your reflection on your experience somewhere else, or like an example of your experience somewhere else, it's very hard for you to process your own emotion because you don't know what example you can use to heal yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And what I offer is basically a platform for women to relate to each other, to be vulnerable, to see that you're not the only one who's going through this and that experience, and to see how someone else was able to overcome the difficulties that you went through. So my program is basically that, is to offer people, Black women specifically, a platform for them to see that they're not alone, and that through other people's experience, they can heal themselves, they can process their own emotion and move forward.
Okay. So a
That's what
lot. Okay. So a lot of people are asking, "Are you a feminist?"
I don't like to use these type of words.
Okay. Okay. Hey, okay. Yeah, they were just in. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say I don't like to use these type of words to label myself. I support. Um, I want to give a platform for Black women because I'm a Black woman and I know how to navigate through that field. I don't downgrade males whatsoever. I love men.
No, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's a duality. I mean, we're all different. We should be respected equally. That's what is lacking from society, is that men and women are not respected equally. But I can't, I'm not, I don't want to use that word to define who I am.
Okay. Well, how do you feel about the, I would say, Black feminist movement that's going on in America right now? Do you think anything productive can come from it, if that makes sense? Or do you think it is productive?
In terms of like the Women March and stuff like that?
Yeah, because I see, yeah, Women's March. I don't really know the direction they're going in.
I mean, I can't talk about anybody else's way of healing themselves, because I think in some way that's another opportunity for other women to heal themselves. I can only focus on what I know has worked for me and promote that.
Okay.
Is it going, when you mean, do you think it's going anywhere? Women, like what exactly do you mean?
I mean, do you
like, is it going to causes reform or anything? Or
well, see, it's just this is my, from what I've experienced and saw and seen. I think there's a difference between women empowerment and feminism. A lot of women empowerment, especially Black women, they lead off with, I would say, for example, equal pay, opportunities in corporate America as far as going up the corporate ladder. You hear more of that, but then when Black feminists come on, is first thing first is, if you don't believe in, I would say the LGBTQ lifestyle, you're a homophobe. And then they go into that, and then, Black men aren't nothing, and they all have white boyfriends. So, it's been my experience. Like I was at a panel in Ghana, and what I'm starting to notice now is a lot of African, not a lot, but some African women who get educated in the West, they're starting to bring a lot of, in my honest opinion, ideas that have not, I guess, benefited the Black community or the Black collective, and for some reason they think it's going to work in Africa. And so literally there was this panel in Ghana and Accra, but I was there back in November. And I promise you, it's just, you can just tell the difference between feminism and woman empowerment, because woman empowerment is more concerned about, I would say, wages and being treated with respect. Then when the feminists come on, it's completely, if you don't agree with this lifestyle, you are a homophobe and Black men aren't nothing.
I don't think that's every feminist.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, the ones that I've come in contact with.
From your experience, because I know feminists that don't speak so, what's the word? So dogmatic.
Okay. But it seems like
the purpose is to empower women.
But what it seems like it's more to, in my honest opinion, divide men and women. That's from what I experience and notice.
It seems like what? Sorry.
To divide men and women.
The feminist movement?
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, I'm also not, I don't like to generalize things. So if that was your experience, it might be, but at the same time, I think the origin of feminism wasn't for that. It was for women empowerment, and it was twisted into something else.
Right.
Just like everything that starts off positive. Once people become dogmatic on it, then it's twisted into something else. So
okay.
That's my opinion. I don't know.
Cool C in the chat room wants to know, do you use, is that Magi cubes, QC, Magi cubes in your cooking? And does she know the dangers of MSG? I think everybody knows the dangers of MSG. But can you
I use magic cube in my cooking?
MAGGI cubes? Do you use Magi cubes in your cooking?
No. I don't use that in my cooking.
What is that?
Huh?
What's Magic cubes?
It's very, I don't know if it's, I haven't really seen like it in America like that, but it's a seasoning that's often used in African cooking.
Oh, why don't you use it? It sounds good already. Why don't you use it?
Oh, because it's not healthy.
No, it's not.
It's very high chemical. It's not healthy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and then somebody else in the chat room. Actually, Chima is a chef as well. Chima, you're a vegan chef as well, right? You make vegan pastries, right? I think you already answered this question, but since it's Chima, I'm gonna ask it again because he's been a long time supporter. What made you want to get into food? That's his question.
I mean, I've always always cooked. I've always been cooking around my house for my family. I started off with pastries too, actually. But then as I got more into the medicine field and the healing field and heal myself, it kind of switched into more vegetarian cooking, more healing foods and stuff like that. It's just naturally, I naturally always like to cook. There is no like one reason.
Okay. I want to give a shout out to Nancy Kimbo, who has been a great and longtime supporter of me. I appreciate it. Nancy, I am coming to Paris this summer just to say hello and break bread with you. And like I said, everybody who super chats, you will be getting a postcard, Dynasty Mirror postcard with the Ashanti, my Ashanti bodyguards, not mine, but you know, I'm gonna act like they're my bodyguard. So
beautiful picture.
Yeah. So Nancy, yours is coming. Eric B, yours is coming. Just do me a favor. Yours is coming as well. Just do me a favor and did you email me your home address? If not, guys, make sure you email me your addresses and I will be sending these out hopefully today. Search for ahuru@gmail.com. That's the email address. Or message me on Instagram, Facebook. But Nancy, I got your email address. So Nancy, I'm gonna send you two. Nancy, I'm gonna send you two, okay? All right, so yeah, so I appreciate the support. How important is food in one's life? Like what you eat? Because I love African food. I know they put hella oil in it, but I absolutely love jollof rice, especially the Senegalese jollof rice. I cannot give that up for nothing.
Original jollof rice.
The original. And don't you hate? But don't you hate that they have this jollof wars and it's always Ghanaians and Nigerians, and it's like you guys didn't. This is originally comes from Senegal.
All the time. Their argument is that they perfected the recipe. Whatever.
Yeah, Senegal has the best, but go ahead.
The importance of food. I love that question because that's something that I talk to my clients about all the time. Your body is 100% made of food. Mm-hmm. Your cells are made of the food you eat. So if that's the building block component of your body, why would it not be important? You know what I mean? Like every single thing that we see from the tissues of our heart to the tissues of our brain, the protein that's doing all the work in our body is made up of food. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's obvious. It's very important. Another example that I use is the effect that food has on your body. If we look at something like alcohol is essentially a food that has been processed.
Right.
To extract the potency of the food. Once you drink it, it affects you. It affects your mental. that's no different from other foods that you eat. The only difference is that they haven't been processed to extract their potency.
Mm-hmm.
So food makes up of your body, makes your body up, and it also affects you mentally. So, I mean, that's just my say on food. It's important.
Oh, real quick, Nancy wants to know what's your Instagram.
Chef Wilize, Wilize.
You got that, Nancy? Anything for you, Nancy? Anything for you? Nancy's the homie. Y'all wants to know: are you aware that Ghana and other African nations are importing GMO and non-organic farming practices now?
I've heard of that. I haven't looked into the research on it yet. If he has any link that he would love to send me, I would love to see that. Actually heard of that. But I also know that a lot of the foods that is eaten here, not in the cities per se, but in the village, is grown on the land.
Right.
So I'm trying, like, somebody just brought that to my attention too recently, and I'm trying to do more research on it. So if he has any links that he wants to send, I'm so open to looking into that.
So let me ask you this: who do you think has the best? Do you still eat jollof rice? You haven't fully converted, have you? Like, do you still eat jollof?
I eat it sometimes here, like when I see how it's made.
Okay. So who has the best? Have you been to Senegal before?
Yeah, I have. When I was younger, you know, I've had Senegalese jollof, I've had Nigerian jollof, but I've never had Ghanaian jollof, so I'll have to wait.
So who has the
Because
best
I've
between?
had some.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What's the fact?
I said who has the best?
I had some good Nigerian jollof. I also had some good Senegalese jollof. But Senegal has like 12 different jollof rices. Like they're both really good, depending on who cooks it.
I'm going to get me some jollof today. So do you make is there vegan, vegetarian jollof that doesn't, I guess, sacrifice the taste that you make? Like, can you make something like that?
Yeah. I mean, jollof is, I mean, you mean without using
Palm oil or whatever?
You can use palm oil. That's
Okay.
still vegetarian.
Oh, is it? Okay.
But I mean, mainly jollof, you could cook it without the seasoning of the meat. Yeah, because it's mainly the main thing is the tomatoes and the thyme and the basil. So yeah, absolutely.
I need to try this out because I gotta have whatever they put in the jollof, in the Senegalese jollof. I gotta have it. Let's see if we got any more questions in the chat room.
You could cook everything on this earth without meat, and it will still taste just as good. You really can.
So
I think that's what I'm trying to show people out here. I'm not trying to convert anybody.
Okay.
That's not my goal.
So you're not a militant vegetarian.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
My philosophy is you need to listen to your body. Whatever your body tells you, that's what you need to follow. That's my philosophy. We're all made different. We're all going to process food differently. You know, I do admit that a lot of meat do cause a lot of diseases. So, in terms of even cholesterol, like heart attack and stuff like that, meat is highly related to that. So, I would say if you are a meat eater, try to get grass-fed meat or whatever, and reduce the frequency and the amount of meat that you eat per week.
Okay.
But I'm not a militant.
How often should somebody who's a meat eater, how often should they eat? Do you recommend eating meat to stay healthy or to not get sick a week? Like,
I mean, technically, I would tell you be better off without the meat. But if you have to have some, try to ease it out. Probably maybe once a week.
That's it. Once a week.
Maybe start off like that and ease it out. Because the less meat you eat, the better your body will feel. I guarantee you that. So I won't even. That's not even part of my recommendation. Most people that come to me know that I would recommend you not to eat meat. But if you are going to eat it at least once a week, and then eat your way out.
Okay.
On occasions.
All right, so you have there's some questions in the chat room. Somebody said instead of palm oil, use grapeseed oil. What's your thoughts on that?
I actually don't think palm oil is bad. I think the quantity in which it is used is bad, but the palm nut has one of the highest concentration of vitamin C in the world.
Oh wow!
You know, that's another thing is like when it comes to African foods per se, we gravitate towards researches that have been done on Europeans.
Right.
And they come tell us don't do this and don't do that. No, we have had this in our environment for years. People have been using that for years. The problem is the amount in which they use it and the way they use it. So I don't think palm oil was bad. No.
All right. And then someone was asking, do you have a cookbook by chance?
I don't. I have a cleanse that's out now, a 21 days ways to heal cleanse that explains to you the different foods that you need to consume in order to help the different organs in your body that contribute to cleansing your body. And then I have a few recipes in there for that you can use for 21 days throughout the length of the cleanse. I am working on a vegetarian African cookbook, so we'll see when that comes out.
And let's see, here's Cool C. This is about to start our argument. Cool C said that where is it? Meat and cholesterol has nothing to do with heart attacks. What do you feel about that statement?
The cholesterol blocks the arteries, which contributes to heart attack. The cholesterol creates some plaques into your arteries, would eventually block the circulation from the blood to your heart, which is what causes heart attack. What's his say on it? I'm curious.
How do you feel about that? Cool C said there's no danger in excessive use of palm oil. So I'm sure he'll reply. He'll reply back.
Excessive because he didn't.
No, he will. He will. Cool C, are you a scientist? Like, are you a dietitian?
Excessive amount of anything is not
great. Right, exactly. Everything in moderation, right?
Yeah, and then palm oil, as much as like I said, I think it's healthy for you in small amounts. It's still a fat. It's still going to contribute to clogging your arteries, which may cause heart attacks. So I'm curious to see what he hinted.
He's gonna respond. He said the brain is 90% cholesterol.
No, the brain is not 90%.
Cool C, you're trolling. Cool C, you're trolling now. Yeah, I knew that was some. I knew that was some bullshit when you posted that. Excuse my language. I'm trying not to cuss. I want to make this.
He meant fat. Yes, the brain is fat, but it's omega-3. This is not cholesterol.
Yeah, Cool C is on here trolling. He said Cool C claims to be a healer now. Okay, next question. Are you familiar with a sister named Queen Afia?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, she wants my boy Willis wants to know, do you agree with her Sacred Black Woman movement? I don't know much about it. Can you explain it? I don't know.
I was going to say, can you explain a little bit? I read her book and I know what she does in her works in terms of wound healing. But I don't know about the Sacred Black Woman movement. Can you tell me a little bit more?
Chima, appreciate the super chat. If you have not emailed me your address, you probably have. You will get a postcard. Me and my royal bodyguards for this photo. They were my royal bodyguards for just this photo only. So you're gonna get a postcard, Chima. Make sure you email me your address. Tanar Pick wants to know the meaning behind your henna on your hand, or is that a tattoo?
Oh, no, that's a henna. There is no meaning yet. My birthday was 5 days ago, and I just did that for my birthday. It's just for fun.
Okay, Yasmin has a
henna
good.
is actually really good for your nails.
Oh, is it?
It's a form of henna is actually really good for your nails. It's a form of protein. So for people who have weak nails, you might want to put. A lot of people I know, my father's side of the family were Fulani, and they put that on their nails often to strengthen it.
Let's see
But it doesn't
here.
have any so fun.
Why is high blood pressure more prevalent in African Americans than West Africans? That's a question from Yasmin.
It goes back to the food. It goes back to the food. I mean, as much as well, recently now West Africans are developing high blood pressure because the problem is there's a lot of fats in our food. That's true. We use palm oil and other oils in most of our sauces. But what used to happen is people used to consume these foods only once a day. And now, as we move into the industrial realm where people, there's in the villages, they will consume these once a day, but they will also go in a plantation and stuff like that and work out. They would work out basically.
Right.
But now when you go to the city, what happens is people consume these food more frequently and they don't work out. They're at a desk like everyone else. And the rise in blood pressure is high here too. You hear a lot of cases of heart disease, but all of this is relating to the food. If you're eating high fat foods, you will contribute to high blood pressure. That's just facts.
So, how do you? A couple more questions. How do you incorporate exercise into your program, or do you?
How?
Like, do you do yoga or?
Absolutely. No, I'm not much of a yoga fan. To tell you the truth.
Okay.
I'm more of a. Pardon?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I didn't say anything. Go ahead.
Sorry, I got cut off. I do stretch on my days off, but I work out at a gym. I do cycling. I'm the type of person. I'm not a fan of yoga. I can't just sit there and hold the stretches for a long period of time. I'm going to tell the truth. I'm not a fan of that. But I do run, do a lot of cardio and weightlifting, at least 1 hour a day. Alternatively, so Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is my cardio day, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays I lift weights, and then during the weekend I either relax or do some stretches.
Okay,
that's what my routine consists of.
Now, do you do this full time, or do you have another job, or is this all you do?
Full time, yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Let's see.
You mean nutrition?
Yeah, like your enterprise. Is this all you do, or do you have another job? Or
no, I do this. Well, as of this year, I've done it full time.
What was the experience like going out there on your own and not, I guess, working for a corporate corporation?
Bumps. It's very difficult. But I have more faith in my dream than anything else. So, you have to budget a lot, to get some help, but the way it is going, it is growing and it's flourishing. And I believe if you have faith in yourself, you should go full on.
No, those are jewels. Thank you.
Transition hard, absolutely. The transition is absolutely hard, and I'm still in my transition period right now. Because I left my job, I was working at a restaurant full time.
Which restaurant were you working at? I used to be in the restaurant business, so I just always ask.
It's an Italian restaurant. It's nothing like it was North Italia. It's in Santa Monica.
Okay. There's a spot in Santa Monica called Green Bean or Green Mean. I think it's
Green Leaves.
Is it? No, is Green is on Wilshire. It's called Green Mean or what's it called?
Tree something.
No.
But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but it's like they're vegan or vegetarian desserts, like their vanilla cake. Oh my God, it was so good. Oh, it was so good. Yeah, but you gotta, because I love because some of the food sometimes is, it just depends who makes it. Because I know here in and they fell off. Is a spot is called Soul Vegetarian here in Atlanta. But they've in fact there was actually one in LA, but they closed down. It's the Hebrew Israelites run it, but they
some of these. The thing about some of these places is that I don't know. I'm like all this tofu and fake meat and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's like
right. So they use
right. Like, what are you doing? It's like you're putting straight up chemicals. You might as well just eat the meat. Like, I don't know. Some of these places I don't know. I'm not much of a fan of it.
It was crazy. That's what they use. They use tofu and everything, and they use whatchamacallit. What's it called? Wheat gluten. Is wheat gluten healthy?
Yeah, most of the vegetarian places that I know in LA, it's like full on tofu, full on fake meats. I mean, once in a while, occasionally, yeah, whatever. But people, the lines like go out of the door for fake stuff. Like that, there's an imbalance. Like, what are you really becoming vegetarian for? Is that a trend, or are you trying to heal yourself?
Right. It's a trend. It's a trend. All right. Last question. We'll do 2 more questions. Y'all wants to know where will you raise your family? Do you have any kids?
I don't.
So would you raise your families in Africa or in America?
That is, I'm thinking about this same question. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, we'll go ahead and close out. I mean, go ahead and give people your contact information where they can find your website, how they can contact you, all that good stuff.
Cool. So my website is wilize.com. So it's WILIZE.com. And my social media is mostly my Instagram. That's really active. It's Chef Wilize. So WILIZE.
Okay.
At Chef Wilize. You can find me and you can DM me your questions and talk about the brain is made up of cholesterol. I want to talk to the guy who said that.
Yeah, Cool C. Yeah, he's trolling. Cool C is, I have some trolls. I somewhat allow people to troll a little bit, because I think everybody has a right to give their opinion. So he's a troll because he's always on here with some bullshit. So yeah. And now he's saying he's a healer. So yeah, he's a troll. He's trolling. It's okay. He's trolling. He's here for comic relief. Nancy said thank you. She was happy that you came on. Real quick, because we have some people who are late to the chat, and then we'll go ahead and close out. I promise. Musa wants to know if you could just introduce yourself to you. This is specifically for you, Musa, because you're late to the chat. If you could just kind of introduce yourself and tell people who you are and what you do.
Yeah, my name is Wilize Maliambo. I'm a nutrition therapist and a vegetarian chef who is inspired by African food to make that. I use African food to make my food. And basically a nutrition therapist is I help you support your organs do their work properly and accurately. So I use nutrition, whether it be with food or herbs, to help you get back in shape, get your organs back to work optimally for you to feel good mentally, physically, and spiritually. I also mostly work with Black women, and I incorporate African spirituality as another way to heal yourself. That's what I do right now, full time.
Okay. No, and this is the thing. There is good and bad cholesterol. Am I correct, Chef Wilize?
Yes.
Okay, but that does not mean the brain is 90% cholesterol.
No,
that's just false.
Omega-3.
Yeah, that's just false.
They're different. Cholesterol is part of a group of fats. The main umbrella term is fats, and then you have different types of fats. And cholesterol is not found in your brain. But what cholesterol does is I'm like blanking out. It's made by the liver, And the issue is that we find is that your body is already making cholesterol, so you don't really need to get it out from outside sources. And the problem is the more you eat meat and stuff, the more cholesterol you ingest in your body, and that affects your arteries, and that's what causes heart attack. But no, cholesterol is not found in your brain. That's omega 3s. That's why you hear people saying, eat your omega 3s, eat your omega 3s. That's all for your brain.
Okay, cool. Yasmin, we're about to go ahead and log off. Yasmin, you could email her or send her a message. Do you have time to ask another question, or is it completely up to you?
Sure.
Okay. She wants to know, do you have any recipes which include ackee?
Ackee. I did. I'm trying to work on one to make like a scrambled egg version of, instead of using egg, using ackee, but I'm still working on it. I want to perfect it before I put it out there.
Have you had an ackee bamboo in Lamar Park?
Ackee bamboo
in Lamar Park. Have you ate there before, the Jamaican restaurant?
I think once.
It's probably the best Jamaican restaurant in LA. I mean, because all those Jamaican
restaurant.
Yes. No. Okay. No. We're about to argue. You better not mention any of those Jamaican restaurants on Pico.
The best is Ultra Rios in Hawthorne, bro. Go check that out.
Okay. Where's that at? Ultra Rios. That sounds familiar. Where's that at?
Hawthorne.
In Hawthorne. Okay. I never ate there. So okay. But because
you gotta check it out.
Okay, because if you're gonna,
it's a small place in the cut, but they have some bomb food.
Really?
And I know I'm picky about my food. Trust me.
Okay, because I promise you, if you're gonna mention one of those spots on Pico, this is gonna turn into an argument. But I haven't had an Ultra Rio, so I can't argue with that.
It's in the cut.
Okay.
You can't really see it, but it's amazing.
Okay, cool. All right, so we'll go ahead and check out everybody. Thank you so much for coming on this morning. Make sure you go to Search for Uhuru on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. Also go to searchforuhuru.com. Go to Amazon.com. Search your name, Dynasty Mirror. Please buy a book. And then go to dynastymirror.com as well. So thank you, everybody, for coming on. I will be in Nigeria in August, people. I know someone asked in the chat room. I will be in Nigeria in August for the Osun Festival. I got to definitely check that out. So, Chef, thank you for coming on. It's been a blessing. You always have a home here. You know, don't be a stranger. So if you ever want to come on and, you know, announce anything, you always have a home here. So you're always welcome. Oh, no problem. No problem. Absolutely. All right, you guys. I appreciate it. Dynasty Mirror Kafatandan. And I got the real kafatans, okay? The real kaftans, all right? Not the fake made in China and India ones that a lot of you guys gonna be rocking to this Black Panther movie. All right. That's why I'm gonna wait 2 weeks after the movie comes out, because I'm gonna be sick in the theater seeing all these fake dashiki. So get at me. All right. Appreciate everybody. Peace.
Thank you.
You're welcome.